Regicide, and we are using the official Regicide deck, but this game is also playable with a standard 52 card deck, so you do not need to buy this if you want to try the game yourself, but I would recommend it because it definitely adds a lot of charm to the game. So, this game was recommended to me by several people. I'd heard of it before, but I'd never tried it myself. And now that I've played it a bit, I can definitely say that this is a really fun game with a lot of strategy to it, and the cards are gorgeous. So before we get into the rules of the game, I just kind of want to look at the deck and talk a little bit about it. So I'll put a timestamp if you just want to skip past all this and get straight to the game. So currently, the official store for this deck is not shipping out copies. I believe it said that they're currently in the process of changing to a different warehouse, and while they're going through that process, they're not shipping out any new games. They're just accepting pre-orders, and once they're done, they will start shipping again. So I'll link the website where you can buy this in the description, and once all their supply stuff is sorted out, you can get one of these. They also have another game that I saw called Regicide Legacy, which is a much more complicated game. It doesn't use a standard deck, and it has a board and several decks. I am interested in trying that, but like with this, they're currently not shipping it, so I'm probably going to wait until they start shipping out new copies of those before I try to get my hands on it. I bought this secondhand because I wanted to do a video about it pretty soon, but once the orders come back up, I'm probably going to buy another one in the other color. They have a red version, so I'm probably going to buy that from the official site once they go back up. Something I really love about these cards is that even though they included no story or lore with the game, you can still get a glimpse into the world just by looking at the art on the cards. Like, we can see some of the different races here. We've got the 5s are these bird people, the 4s are dwarves, the 7s are elves, the 8s are this feline race of cat people, and we've also got my favorite, this humanoid dragon race. And let me see if I can find my favorite card in the deck. It's this one right here. Look at this fancy dragon bard with this big cello. How can you not love this guy? The characters are divided into 4 classes. Spades are paladins. Clubs are warriors. Diamonds are bards. And hearts are clerics. Each of these suits has a different effect in the game based on those classes. So for example, the clerics are healers, the bards allow you to recruit more fighters, the paladins are defensive, and the warriors double your attack power. I really love the theming of the cards. It's amazing. I think this is one of my favorite decks that I've used on this channel so far, and it fits the game perfectly. So that's enough gushing over the deck. Oh, and of course, the jesters, or jokers. It also comes with a rule book that explains the rules of the game. We're not going to read through this whole book. I think what we're actually going to do is I will explain the very basics, and then we're just going to play the game, and as we go, I'll explain the more specific rules and how everything works. If you want to play this game, but you don't have the official deck and you want to play with a generic deck, these rules are also online, and you can view them on the website. Again, I'm going to link the official website in the description so you can view the rules there if you want to play this but you don't have the deck. So let's get started actually setting up the game. First, the Jokers. Now, this game is actually for 1 to 4 players. So you can play it as a cooperative game or you can play it as a solitaire game. And when you're playing it solo, the rules for the Jokers are slightly different. So when you're playing it solo, the Jokers are not shuffled into the deck. Instead, they're placed face down on the side. And we can reveal these at any time we want, but we probably want to do that wisely. And you'll see why. Now the first thing we want to do is separate all the royal cards from the rest of the deck. These are going to be our enemies. The goal of the game is to overthrow the corrupt monarchy by defeating all of the royals. And we will be recruiting warriors in order to do that. So first, let's start by building the castle deck. The castle deck is going to contain all the enemies we're going to fight. So start by taking the kings and shuffling them face down. That's good enough, and place them like that. Now take the queens and do the same thing. Alright, and place them on top of the kings. Finally take the jacks and do the same thing. So you will always fight the enemies in order of jacks, then queens, then kings, but the order of the specific suits is randomized. The rest of the cards form the tavern deck, and we'll shuffle this before we begin. By the way, if you've seen my videos before, you've probably noticed that things look quite a bit different. I was originally just going to update my lighting setup to try to get rid of that pesky glare that we've had since the beginning, but I ended up sort of redoing a lot more than that, and I kind of wanted to lean into the name of the channel and go for more of a nighttime aesthetic. So, I don't know how good I was able to capture that, but hopefully, at least a little bit. If you think the old setup was better, just let me know in the comments. Always looking for feedback. Alright, that's enough shuffling. So, to start the game, we need to draw a hand of 8 cards. And we leave the rest of the tavern deck over here. Now we flip the top card of the castle deck, and our first opponent will be a jack of spades. Now, right here, we can see the steps of play in the lower right here. Now, in order to defeat a royal, we need to play cards from our hand that add up to the health of the enemy. If we look here, we can see that jacks have an attack power of 10 and 20 health, so the cards we play need to add up to 20 in order to kill the jack. Now, in my first Scoundrel video, we used cards to track HP. And then in my second video, I switched to using a D20 to track HP. However, I had several people say in the comments that they preferred the cards because they like the sound of the cards. And I agree. I love the sound of the cards. So we're switching back to the cards for tracking HP. So if we go back here, the first step of the turn is to play a card or yield. Now, in a single player solitaire game, there isn't really any reason to yield field, that's really only something that you would want to do in the co-op version. So we're going to play a card, and I'm going to play the 10 of clubs. Now step 2 is activate the suit power. However, you only activate powers in this step if the card is a heart or a diamond. If it is a black card, then the suit power is activated in later steps. So, since we played a club, we skip step 2. Next we do step 3, deal damage to the enemy. And this is where we activate the club suit power, because the power of clubs is to deal double damage. So instead of dealing 10 damage to the jack, we actually deal 20. And the jack only has 20 HP, so we instantly kill the jack. In addition to that, we dealt exactly the jack's HP in damage. If you do that, you get an extra bonus. So we discard the card that we used to attack, and since we ended with exactly 0 HP on the jack goes on top of our tavern deck. So the next time we draw cards, we get the jack. If we did not end on 0, so for example, if we dealt 21 damage instead of 20, then the jack would instead go to the discard pile. And once we draw that jack, its attack power is the same as its attack power when we were fighting against it. So it's good to try to kill enemies on their exact HP because that gets you powerful cards into your hand. Or at least into the tavern deck and then into your hand once you draw more cards. So let's draw our next castle card, and it is the Jack of Clubs. We'll reset his HP to 20. Now one thing I neglected to mention with the last jack is that each enemy is immune to the suit power of its own suit. So we killed the Jack of Spades. The Jack of Spades is immune to the spade power, which is reducing the enemy attack, so we could not have reduced the Jack of Spades attack power. In this instance, we have the Jack of Clubs, so we cannot deal double damage to this jack. So if we had another club and we played it, this would only deal 10 damage instead of 20. So I think I'm going to play the 10 of diamonds. So that was step 1, we play a card. Step 2, we activate the suit power, and the diamond suit power is that you draw cards from the deck, and the amount of cards you draw from the deck is equal to the value of the card. However, our maximum hand size in a single player game is 8, so we can only draw up to 8 cards. We have 6 in our hand right now, so we draw 2 more. Now we deal damage to the enemy. Step 3, we deal 10. So the jack has 10 health remaining. And finally, we get to step 4, which we skipped last time because we killed the enemy. Suffer damage from the enemy. Now the way enemy damage works is that you must discard cards from your hand equal to the enemy's attack power. So this enemy deals 10 damage, so we must discard 10 damage worth of cards from our hand. In this instance, I think I'm going to discard the 6 and 4 of spades. So now we've suffered damage. The turn starts again from the beginning, and now I'm going to play the 10 of hearts. We activate the suit power. The suit power of hearts lets you heal from the discard pile, and so to do that, first you flip the discard pile face down, then you shuffle it. Right now we've only got 3 cards in it. And then you deal a number of cards equal to the attack value of the heart card that you played. However, in this instance there are only 3 cards in the discard pile, so we only deal out 3. Then you take the cards that you dealt and you put them on the bottom of the tavern deck without looking at them. Then, if you had any remaining discard piles left, you would flip them face up again, but you do not look at the cards that you put in the tavern. Now, we deal damage, and again we deal 10 damage. So, jack, which means it goes to our tavern. Now, let's flip our next card, the Jack of Hearts, and we'll reset his HP. Now I'm going to play the Jack of Spades. We don't activate the suit power because it's a black card. We deal damage to the enemy. The Jack does 10, leaving the Jack of Hearts at 10 HP. Now, step 4 is when we activate the Spade suit power, which is reduce enemy attack. So, we reduce the enemy's attack by 10, and Jacks have an attack power of 10, which means this Jack does no damage to us. And it's worth pointing out that Jacks have a permanent effect on the enemy's attack power, so the next card I play won't change anything. He will still have 0 attack power, which means we're basically just free to keep playing cards as we want until we kill him. So, we can kill with the 8 of diamonds and the 3 of hearts, and we have a bit of a tactical decision we can make here. We can play the 8 first, because if we get a 2, then we can play the 2 and then we kill the Jack perfectly and we get him in our tavern. Or we could play the 3 first and then play the 8, and after we play the 8 we'll get more cards in our hand because we'll have made an open space before we play the 8. I think I'm going to play the 8 first, and we're going to see if we can draw a 2. So we draw 5 cards to fill up our hand, and we did not draw a 2, unfortunately. And now we deal 8 damage, leaving us with 2 HP, or rather leaving the Jack of Hearts with 2 HP. And now I think I will play the 3 of Hearts. And we don't activate the suit power because we're fighting a Jack of Hearts, so he is immune to the heart power, which means we do not heal from the discard pile. Instead, we just deal damage. We deal enough to kill the Jack, but we do not kill it with perfect HP, so the Jack goes to the discard pile with the attack cards that we used to kill it. Now we move on to our last Jack, the Jack of Diamonds, and the diamonds are the scariest enemies in my opinion, because when a diamond is on the field, you cannot draw new cards. You have to kill the enemy with what you've got, and if you don't have a good hand to kill the enemy with, if you don't have spades to reduce their attack power, if you don't have enough damage dealing cards to get its health to 0, then you're basically done, and you're gonna have to play a jester in order to survive. And I guess now would be a good time to explain how the jesters work. The jesters are pretty much your lives. During either step 1 or step 4, you can choose to flip one of the jesters, and when you flip a jester, you discard your entire hand, or if your hand is empty, then you don't have to do anything, and then you draw a new hand from the tavern, 8 new cards. So it's basically a get out of jail free card. If you run out of options, you can play the jester and get a new hand. But there are only 2 jesters, so you can only do this twice. If you've played both your jesters and then you reach a point where you cannot satisfy the damage from an enemy, you don't have enough cards to deal with the enemy's damage, then you lose the game. Now I am going to play, in this instance, I'm going to play the 9 of spades, and then I'm going to play the animal companion, the Ace of Hearts. Aces are animal companions, and they can be comboed with any other single card. And the way it works is that the new attack power of this attack is the sum of these 2 cards, so 9 plus 1 is 10. But the real benefit of the animal companion is that you get the effects of both suit powers. So not only is the attack power 10, but we also reduce the attack power of the enemy by 10, and we heal from the discard pile by 10. So animal companions are very powerful. Let's start by activating the suit power. So we shuffle the discard pile. Now once again, we don't have 10 cards in the discard pile, so we're just going to put all the cards at the bottom of the tavern deck. We don't have to count them out. but if we were counting them out, we would, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we would go up to 10, and then these cards would go to the bottom of the tavern deck, and then the rest of the cards would go back to the discard pile. We deal damage to the enemy. I forgot to reset the HP. We deal 10 damage. We've done a lot of 10 damage attacks this game. I think almost every attack we've done has been 10 damage. And then we suffer damage from the enemy, but we reduce the enemy's attack power by 10, so we take no damage. Now I think next I'm going to play the 3 of diamonds. We activate the suit power, 1, 2, 3. And then we deal damage to the enemy, 2, 3. So the enemy has 7 HP remaining. I'm going to play the 6 of hearts, and we have no discard pile, so activating the suit power does nothing. We deal 6 damage, and then I'm going to play the 2 of spades, and that kills the jack, but it is not a perfect kill, so it goes to the discard pile. And now we fight our first queen, and it is a queen of diamonds. I'm not sure. Oh, we should be able to get the kill, I think. So, queens have 15 attack power and 30 HP. So we're gonna take 10 more cards here and add it to our HP stack. Now to start off, I'm going to play this jack, and I'm going to add the spade animal companion. So now it's all black cards, so we don't activate the suit power on step 2. We deal damage to the enemy. That's 11, but it's also a club, so we deal 22 damage. So there's 10, there's 20, and then there's 22. So 8 HP remaining on the Queen of Diamonds. Now we suffer damage from the enemy. We reduce the Queen of Diamonds' attack power by 11. So we only have to satisfy 4 damage. I'm going to use the 5 of clubs to satisfy the damage. And then I'm going to play the 9 of hearts. We activate the suit power. And once again, we have less cards in the discard pile than we're healing from. So we just put the whole stack. Actually, let me count them out just to be sure. I'm pretty sure this is less than 9, but we'll just be certain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And these all go to the bottom. And that kills the queen. And all these cards go to the discard pile. Let's reveal the next queen. The Queen of Hearts. Reset the HP. And we only have 1 card to play, so we play the 4 of diamonds. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we did not draw any diamonds, which means we're gonna have to use a jester. So, activate the suit power. We did that. Deal damage to the enemy. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now suffer damage from the enemy. We need to satisfy 15 damage. So I think the only way we can do that is with the 9 and the 7. Now, it's our turn again. I'm going to play a combo. So this is a mechanic I haven't gone over yet. If you have multiple of the same value card, you can play them together as long as their total is less than 10. So we can play both of these 2s together, and this works similar to the Animal Companion. You add the sum of the cards and then apply both suit powers. So our attack power is 4. We apply the heart suit power, so we would draw 4 cards from the discard pile and put them in the tavern if we were not fighting a Queen of Hearts, but since we're fighting a Queen of Hearts, she's immune to the effect, so we do not do that step. But we do activate the club suit power, so 2 plus 2 is 4, and then we activate the clubs and we do 8 damage. So that would be 6, and then 7, 8. And now we have to suffer damage from the enemy, but we're out of cards. So this is the point where we're gonna flip our first Jester. And now after we flip the Jester, we draw a new hand. Oh my god, we almost didn't draw another diamond. That's okay, we drew an ace of diamonds, so we can play that with another card and draw a whole bunch if we want. So we still have to satisfy the 15 damage, so I think probably an 8 and a 7 is what we're gonna do. Let's go with one of the clubs and one of the spades. I think we'll do the 7 of clubs and the 8 of spades. So that is 15. Hang on, I kind of messed this up. So this is 19, correct? Or sorry, 18, I mean. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to play the 8 of clubs and I'm going to apply the ace of diamonds, animal companion. So this is 9 total. We activate the suit power, fill up our hand, 2, 3, 4. Then we deal damage to the enemy, 9 with the club suit power, times 2 is 18. So that is a perfect kill on the queen. She goes to the top of our tavern deck. The rest of the cards go to our discard pile. And we reveal the next queen, and it is the Queen of Clubs. And I think I'm going to open with the 7 of spades. So no suit power, deal damage to the enemy, we deal 7 damage. We suffer damage from the enemy, we played a spade, so we reduced the queen's damage by 7, so she only has 8 remaining, so we only have to satisfy 8 damage. And I think I'm going to play this 8 of hearts here to satisfy the damage. Now, I'm not going to play the 9 of diamonds yet. I want to wait until I have less cards in my hand so I can draw more cards. So I think I'm going to play the 6 of clubs. We no suit power to activate. We deal damage to the enemy. We only deal 6 damage because the Queen of Clubs is immune to the club effect, so we do not double our damage. And now we suffer damage from the enemy. I'm going to discard the 5 of hearts and the 3 of clubs. Now I'm going to play the 9 of diamonds, and I'm praying that we draw another diamond card or multiple. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now we deal damage to the enemy. 9 damage puts us at 8 HP. Or puts the queen. I'm so used to saying it like Scoundrel, where we're tracking our HP. But we're tracking the HP of the enemy now. So I have to remember that. And now we suffer damage from the enemy. And I think I'm going to discard the 5 and the 3 of spades. Wait, do I want to take that back? I do. I'm instead going to discard the 3, the 4, and the 2. I want to keep the 5 because I'm going to play the 5 this turn. So no suit power. We attack the enemy for 5 damage, and we reduce the attack power by 5. So it only deals 3 damage, but we actually have to discard. Okay, maybe that was a bad idea. We have to discard this now. I'm really hoping we draw another with this. So I'm going to play this right now, I think. We're going to play, as our final card of the encounter, we'll play the 7 of diamonds. We draw 6 cards to refill our hand. We did get another diamond card, so we're still in the game. And we deal damage, killing the queen. And all these cards go to the discard pile. Now what do we get next? The Queen of Spades. Now I've got a combo that I was specifically saving for this. I'm going to play the Queen of Hearts and the Ace of Clubs. this deals 30 damage. Actually, it deals 32 damage because we add 1 from the ace, which is more than the HP of the queen, so we instantly kill the queen. And now we start on the kings. We're almost done. We've got 4 enemies left to fight. And I just realized how long this one game is taking because I'm going through all the rules as we're doing it. This game takes quite a long time to play, especially for a one-deck game. Now for the kings, we add the final 10 HP because kings have 40 health and 20 attack power. They're very strong. So I think the first thing we're going to do out the gate is play the 10 of spades. So we deal 10 damage. Dropping the king to 40 HP. Now we suffer damage. We played the 10 of spades, so we only take 10 damage in return. I think I'm going to play the 6 and 4 of spades to our discard pile to satisfy the damage. Next, I'm going to play the 6 of diamonds and pray that we get another diamond. We did. We got 2 of them. Very nice. Okay, and we got a 10 of hearts, which I'm going to want because our tavern deck is getting pretty low. So now we deal damage. We deal 6 damage, putting the king at 24 HP. And now we have to satisfy 10 damage, and I think I'm going to use the 10 of clubs. Next, I am going to play the jack of spades, and we officially neutralize the king. It now has 0 attack power. We deal 10 damage, putting it down to 14 HP. Whoops, I put that on the wrong pile. There we go. So now we don't have to worry about suffering any more damage from this king. So let's play the 4 of hearts. Now we shuffle the discard pile and heal 4 damage. And our discard pile is quite big, so I can riffle it. And for the first time, we actually have more cards in our discard pile than we're going to heal. So, we deal 1, 2, 3, 4. The rest of the cards go back in the discard pile. And then these go to the bottom of the tavern deck. And then I think the last card I want to play is the 10 of diamonds. Oh, I forgot to deal damage. So we deal 4 damage, leaving 10. And the last card I want to play is the 10 of diamonds because I want to refill our hand before the next encounter, just in case we get the king of diamonds and we're not able to draw new cards, which I'm not actually sure if we would be able to survive even with this hand. But I don't know, we'll see. So we fill up our hand. We deal damage, 10 damage, killing the king perfectly. The king goes on top of our tavern deck, and we reveal the next card, which thankfully is the king of hearts, not the king of diamonds. And I forgot to discard all these. And let's reset the HP. And now, what do I want to play? It would be nice if I had clubs, but I do not. And I don't know if I want to use the spades when we still have the king of diamonds remaining. I think I am going to use the spade. So I'm going to play the 9 of spades to start. No suit power to activate yet. We deal 9 damage. And the enemy attacks us and deals 11 damage. So we'll do the 10 of hearts and the 2 of spades. We'll discard these. Next, I'm going to play the 8 of diamonds. We draw 1, 2, 3, 4, and we deal 8 damage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Putting the King of Hearts at 23 HP. And now we have to satisfy 11 damage once again. So I'll do the Jack of Hearts and the 3 of Hearts. We're starting to run out of cards in the tavern. Okay, so I think I'm going to play the 3 of Diamonds. These are our last. Oh no, we have one more card in the tavern. Oh, that was a good draw. I think that's going to be useful to us. We deal 3 damage. Just 20 HP remaining on this king. And now we have to satisfy, once again, 11 damage. Let's do the 6 of Hearts. I know discarding these hearts seems scary when we have so few cards in our tavern, but I'm planning to use the King of Clubs with the Ace of Hearts on the next turn, or on the next enemy, once we get rid of this guy, if we get rid of this guy. Now we still need to deal 20 damage. I'm a little scared. I don't know what this last card is. I'm gonna play the Queen. We'll see what this last card is. So, it is a 2 of Diamonds. Actually, that might be perfect because we can discard the 9 and the 2. So we deal 15 damage from the Queen, leaving the King with 5 HP remaining. And now we suffer damage. I'll take the 2 and the 9. And now finally, on our last turn, we play the 5 of Diamonds. We can't draw anything because our tavern is empty, but we perfectly killed the king. So the king goes in our tavern. Our tavern now has 1 card and it's just the king. And the rest of these go in the discard pile. Now we flip the last enemy, and it's the King of Diamonds, but we're prepared for this. We've got the King of Clubs and the Ace of Hearts, and so we deal 20 times 2, which is enough to kill the King of Diamonds, and we draw 16 cards from our discard pile into our tavern deck. So that's why I was saving those 2 cards. I knew that I was gonna need them, because I knew once this card showed up, I was gonna need something to take it out as soon as possible. I think this is probably gonna be the only game we play tonight. I didn't realize this was gonna take so long. When I was playing this by myself, games took like 20 minutes or so. 15 to 20 minutes, but it's different when you're just playing on your own and just making all the moves versus when you're talking out all your strategy for an audience. Then it takes a lot longer. So this is probably just gonna be the one game for this video. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. The rest go back in the discard pile, and these go to the bottom of the tavern, and we instantly kill the king. He goes to the discard. These go to the discard. We reveal our last enemy, the King of Spades, and we're going to open with the Jack of Diamonds, which lets us draw a full hand. Alright, so we deal 10 damage, but we now have to satisfy the full 20 damage, and this is a spade enemy, so we have no way of reducing his attack power. We have to take the full 20 every turn. And I think I'm going to do this Queen of Diamonds. No, the Queen of Hearts. I'm going to do the Queen of Hearts and the 5 of Spades to satisfy the damage. Next, I am going to play the King So the King of Hearts is 20, which means we will draw 20 cards. Oh, when you have hearts and diamonds at the same time, the hearts always go first. So we heal from the discard pile before we draw from the tavern deck. That's what the rules say. Alright. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. The rest of these cards go back in the discard. These go to the bottom of the tavern. And now we activate the Ace of Diamonds. So we draw 4 cards. If we could, we would draw 20. Oh, 4, 8. Yeah, okay. If we could, we would draw 21 cards, but our maximum hand size is 8, so we only draw 4. Alright, now we deal damage, 21 damage. So there's 10, there's 20, and 21. And now we need to satisfy 20 damage. So I will just do these two, the Queen of Diamonds and the 5 of Diamonds. And now all we have to do to win the game is play the 9 of Hearts. And we have officially won. And that's awesome. This is actually a very challenging game. I probably win less than 50-50. So I'm so excited that after we spent all this time playing this game tonight, that it ended in a win. That's very good to me. So, we ended with 1 of our 2 jesters used. Now the rules say that you can sort of grade yourself in the solo play based on how many jesters were used. If you use 2 jesters, it's a bronze victory. If you use 1 jester, it's a silver victory. If you use 0 jesters, it's a gold victory. So this was a silver victory because we used 1 jester. I've never gotten a gold victory. That just seems really difficult. I always get stumped when I have to fight one of the diamonds. I almost always have to use a jester at some point. But this time, we did not have to use both of them. And that is amazing to me. When I do win, I almost always get the bronze victory, so I'm glad that we managed to get a silver victory today. I hope you enjoyed this video. This game is so fun. I'm so glad it was recommended to me. Thank you for everyone who suggested that I play this. And if you have other games that you think I would like, please let me know. I would love to try them, especially after how much of a success this one is. Please recommend to me more games like this because I absolutely love this one. If you like single-player card games, consider subscribing to my channel. That's pretty much all we do here right now. I might expand to other solo tabletop games. I have been playing 4 Against Darkness on my own, and I'm really loving it. Maybe someday a 4 Against Darkness series could be a thing, but I have no idea. I have no idea if anyone would even want to see that. So if ASMR 4 Against Darkness sounds interesting to you, let me know, or if you have suggestions for other single-player tabletop games that you'd like to see me play. But currently, we're focusing on card games like this, and we also play many traditional solitaire games, patience games, and that's sort of what my main uploads were up until recently when I started playing more of these themed games. I'm having trouble getting this back in the box. But anyways, let me know what you thought, if you have suggestions for other games, or if there's a game I've already played that you'd like to see me return to, like if you would like to see the return of Clear the Dungeon or Scoundrel again. If you think that this new setup is not as good as my old one, also let me know. And yeah, that's all I have to say for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good night and sleep well. Bye.